All right, thank you everybody. So today, thank you for introducing me, Andrew, and thank you also for the previous presentations. Okay, so Lukashenko once described Belarusian foreign policy as leaning on one wing and attempting to fly. In this analogy, Russia is the one wing. This implies the second wing is the West. Traditional Belarusian foreign policy balances between these two east-west wings. However, this east-west balance remains precarious. Russia has removed its gas subsidies and imposed food import bans, and there have been sanctions and travel bans from the West, only recently removed. Minsk promotes relations with China as a third alternative, as a third wing, you could say. But of course, and this will enable it to help rebalance these two east-west wings. The reality, of course, is more complicated. Now, I just realized before I started on my presentation, I did a very amateur mistake. I have not defined what I mean by balance, which the other people have. Other speakers. So in this presentation, when I say balance or balancing, I mean establishing foreign ties to maintain a country's independence, just very basically. Okay. In this presentation, I will argue three things. Okay, that the China-Belarus relationship is indeed more hype than substance. Okay, however, downstream developments along China's New Silk Road project will mean Belarus will continue to receive China's pragmatic but calculating support. The Ukraine crisis, in this presentation I'm looking at the nature of China-Belarus relations and the impact of the Ukraine crisis on balancing. Okay? The Ukraine crisis has aided Belarus's balancing of its east-west wings. Okay, finally, Russia's belligerence and aggression encourages Belarus to seek closer ties with China. Okay, and this presentation is divided into 4 parts. Okay, I'm going to give you some brief background on China-Belarus relations. Then I'm going to give you the nature of China-Belarus relations, and then the impact of the Ukraine crisis on these relations, and then finally looking how it affects balancing with Russia. So when you study China-Belarus relations, it's quite nice that most of it is irrelevant up until 2006. Okay, and I will give there are several reasons for this, but I will give the two major ones. The two major reasons are, in 2005, they signed a joint declaration, which markedly improved relations, and then Russia. In 2006, it was apparent that Russia was going to remove its gas subsidies and its tariffs, right? And so Belarus loses a lot of money. And Krasteleva has an excellent paper on that. Okay, so now moving on to the nature of Belarus-Russia relations. So there are many differing interpretations of Belarus-Russia relations, okay? So official rhetoric is that Belarus and China have a comprehensive strategic partnership, a trustworthy friendship. Critics have described relations as an epic failure of Belarusian foreign policy. Another critic described it as more hype than substance. Others argue the unique geographical location of Belarus makes it an essential partner for China. One Chinese scholar of strategic studies describes relations with Belarus as, and I quote, "Central Europe is a piece of virgin land to be cultivated, especially Belarus." There are wide differences in interpretations. This is for good reason. Relations are still developing between China and Belarus. Okay? And so, in its relations with China, Belarus takes a very high-risk strategy, okay? And it has already encountered many issues. And nothing demonstrates this high-risk strategy better than the China-Belarus Industrial Park, which I will go into now. And Lukashenko called this park himself the symbol of China-Belarus relations. Okay, so the big selling point of this park has always been location, location, location. Okay, originally it was intended as an industrial and research development, and this part is being developed up at the top. Industrial and R&D hub for entrance into the Eurasian Economic Union, right? However, the actual physical location of this industrial park has increased, the importance of it has increased since China announced its One Belt, One Road, or otherwise known as Silk Road policy, okay? And that was announced in 2013 by Xi Jinping. And at the same time, I don't know if there's any sort of correlation, but at the same time, Belarusian relations, they signed another formal declaration with China that increased relations to a proper strategic partnership. And I don't have time to get into this, but this is important for relations between Belarus and China. Okay, so now, but does everybody know about the One Belt, One Road policy project? Yes, they definitely will. So this is it. So a lot of people, there's this misconception that the One Belt, One Road project is this giant thing that China's building, and it's definitely not. It's integrating all the transport and trade networks stretching from China across Asia into Europe, okay? And now, on this One Belt, One Road project, there's the central corridor and the northern corridor, and they both connect with Minsk. Where is it? Where is it? I can't see it. There she be. She's on the red. And both of these have been tested. The one that takes the northern corridor takes 10 days. The one that takes the central corridor, I believe, takes, I can't remember how long it takes, like 11 days or something. Because this makes Belarus a gateway into Europe, it makes that phrase more credible, because China is developing large infrastructure in Kazakhstan and also in China to make this massive trade infrastructure work. Okay, so now we come, so it's location of the park. And so here is Minsk, and it's 25 kilometers from Minsk, there's the park. It's located along a highway to Berlin, it's right next to the international airport, and it's connected to the rail, or should be connected to the railway network eventually. Okay, so, but the whole project is way behind schedule. Okay, it was announced in 2010, and the first industrial building started construction in 2014. Okay, so the reason is because China may not have political, it doesn't have political conditionality when it gives loans, which, because by the way, so China is putting money to building, funds to building this park. And so it doesn't give political conditionality, but it has commercial conditionality when it issues a loan. And Belarus has not fulfilled the preconditionality for its side of the bargain, for its agreement. So China has been withholding its credit to Belarus. And Belarus has already invested a lot of money in preparing this park, okay, and is waiting for this next tranche of Chinese investment. Now, Chinese hesitation in this park is actually symptomatic of a wider hesitation in Belarus, okay, a deeper hesitation and caution, okay, and it's connected to more general concerns, okay. China believes, and I've found several Chinese articles where economists say this, that the Belarusian economic model is backward, okay, and functions according to a Soviet mentality. Okay, China and China doesn't value Belarusian manufacturing very highly. Okay, what it does value is fertilizer, and as it develops its One Belt, One Road infrastructure, it values Belarus's location as a gateway. Okay, so what we have though is China still is, it's increasing at the moment its credit to Belarus. Why are they doing this? It's because they've been able to confront these concerns. And how they've done that is building, like I said, conditionality into their loans, okay? So you may see all this stuff on the television. Oh, China gives $7 billion to Belarus. Oh, this is great. But in actuality, what they've done is they give China a loan where 50 up to 70% must be bought in Chinese equipment, goods, and services. So what China has done is it's hedging its bets, right? So Belarus it gets its own investment in Belarus, and it assures that Belarus is buying its products. And also the way that Belarus has to barter for these products allows China to control the quality of these products. And this actually has led to a rumor that one of the power plants that China was building was they received the turbines, the gas turbines for this power plant, and they were in such atrocious condition, the specialists blew it up, hoping that they would get a second chance, a new turbine from China that might be better quality. This hasn't been proved, but this is the rumor. Okay, so why did China agree to come to this park? Because Belarus is willing to take a massive risk. Okay, so Belarus is putting all this down and taking on all this risk. Okay, and also, Belarus also rationalizes its One Belt, One Road policy. So why does Belarus take the risk? So China is helping Belarus stay unreformed. Okay, it helps reduce Western leverage. China, though, in this case, I would not say is a black knight of some sort, because it has all this conditionality built into its loans. A recent study has shown that deeper engagement with China, this is by Yulia Bader, an excellent study, that if the regime is autocratic, deeper engagement with China helps the regime persist. Okay? And this is Lukashenko and the elite's aim with China. For the size of the loans, also another reason that Belarus is willing to work with China in such high-risk terms is that it's unlikely to find better, for these size of loans, it's unlikely to find better lenders, okay, better terms than this. Russia will want control over Belarus's sovereignty, and the West will want some kind of reform. China just wants to have, did you get enough investors? Yes or no? Okay, here's the money. Okay, so, summary, right. So China belatedly sees that Belarus does hold some good geographic potential. China is continuing to invest in Belarus, which indicates a growing commitment. And however, this is only possible if Belarus takes on risk. Okay, how much time do I have?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Ooh, okay. Okay, so the Ukraine crisis. How has the Ukraine crisis affected Belarus-China relations? For Belarus, it's affected it in the relations with China. It's been a big effect. For China, not so much. Okay, so Belarus has made China, the conflict has made Belarus seek for deeper ties with China. And this deeper engagement has been in the military sphere and to revamp Belarus's defenses. There has also been a second wind in pushing forward and completing or putting back on schedule the industrial park. Okay, the crisis has also helped rebalancing with the West. Okay, and China has in particular praised Lukashenko for his efforts in trying to stabilize the Ukraine conflict. Okay, and there's now an idea that if Belarus can in balancing with the West, this crisis will allow Belarus to get better ties with the European Union and maybe get a trade deal working with them, and therefore increase again its location as a place on the One Belt, One Road project for trade. Okay. But in China, Belarus is very low on its list of priorities, so it really hasn't changed its relationship with Belarus. What has happened is that China has been using strategic ambiguity, basically saying, oh, we respect international law and Ukraine's sovereignty, but they're still selling weapons, for example, and doing military deals with Russia and continuing to work with Belarus. They're just having their cake and eating it too. And this moves on to balancing with Russia, my last points. Okay, so how this allows Belarus to balance is that even though it's not very much, China gives Belarus enough credit for some breathing space, okay, and it allows it to take a more independent policy, as Belarus has done on Ukraine, because it doesn't have to rely solely on loans from Russia, okay, and though it's no panacea, because, Belarus obviously still needs Russia, and Chinese aid has all this conditionality. Okay, what it has done also is reduced Western leverage, or at least for a time. Okay, and it's too early to speak about linkages of Western linkages on the issue. Okay, and so in conclusion, to recap, there is much to be pessimistic about the state of China-Belarus relations. Minsk has not escaped conditionality-free loans it had once hoped for. Okay, Belarus has taken on a high-risk policy with China in an attempt to remain unreformed and to continue to balance East and West. The biggest issue for Belarus-China relations is for Belarus not to become just another transfer point on the One Belt, One Road project. Okay, if this industrial park does fail, expect a cooling of relations with China. If it succeeds, however, there will be a deepening of relations with China. Okay, and and as a final statement, relations with China are indeed starting to look like a third wing. Perhaps it will help Belarus to fly, but at present it appears highly awkward and risky. Thank you.